What's going on, everyone? It's Nick and I'm back. Had about a week off, but about time I get back on now. And what a win for the Giants against the Seahawks. It's too bad the Steelers couldn't help out and keep their winning streak going, but either way, I really didn't think I'd be nearly as optimistic about the Giants as I am right now. Before we begin, definitely subscribe if you're new, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell button because it really helps out. And definitely like this video if you think that Joe Judge should be head coach of the year, because I think he is a no-brainer for the award and the Giants found a gem. So before we begin to it, hit that intro. Going up against the Seahawks, I knew that the Giants would have a tough game, and I expected a low-scoring game, but I wasn't all that confident in them winning. But I'm more than happy to be wrong, and while Colt McCoy certainly wasn't balling out or anything, at least he didn't lose the team the game, and I did expect the defense to show up, and they sure did that, holding Russell Wilson and the Seahawks to just 12 points, and their last touchdown was in garbage time. So this was a big W all around. It was a great team win, and even going up against one of the best pass rushing defenses and against one of the best run defenses, the offensive line looked brilliant. And this is the first time in ages that I've actually been able to praise the offensive line as much as I am right now, or I guess I should say fans across the league could praise this offensive line. And I wasn't so sure Wayne Gallman would repeat the success he had against the Bengals, but oh, what a big day he had once again. He just needed to be put in a position to succeed, and he's in a position to succeed now, and he's thriving right now. I couldn't even imagine this running game being nearly as effective as it is right now, especially after Saquon Barkley went down with a torn ACL, and it's been looking really solid. Now, it was definitely reasonable to say last week that a win against the Bengals with a backup quarterback, that's nothing, but you definitely can't say that about this win against the Seahawks, because this is a big statement win. This is really going to boost the team's confidence, and this team, it has some serious momentum going in their favor. They beat the Seahawks. I think they can beat just about anyone. Well, maybe I'm not going to go as far as thinking that they can win the Super Bowl, but right now, even though Washington beat the Steelers, I still think that this is definitely the Giants' division to lose. They don't have as grueling of a travel schedule as Washington does, because Washington has to travel out west next week, and the Giants' only road game left on the schedule is against the Ravens. And if they can beat the Seahawks, they can definitely beat the Cardinals, they can definitely beat the Ravens, and of course they're going to beat the Cowboys. And you know what? When I was talking about the Cleveland Browns, even though now they're 9-3, and they did just beat a really good team, the Tennessee Titans, I think that the Giants could beat the Browns too. Now, I really gotta talk about this offensive line. It wasn't that long ago when Andrew Thomas was looked at as the new Eric Flowers, but oh, he's been exceptionally good. He didn't allow a single pressure against the Seahawks, and he hasn't allowed a sack in like 5 games. And also, Ken Fleming, he's also been playing really well for the Giants. I can't believe that this offensive line is actually looking so good right now, because it's been ages since the Giants' offensive line looks good. Now, with Daniel Jones back, while I'm still not going to say like he's going to be a superstar or anything, with this offensive line playing as well as it is, I think he'll be fine. The only thing that the Giants really need right now is a number 1 receiver, but running game is doing really well. The defense is spectacular. Offensive line looks great again. This team, I'm very confident in them for the first time in a long time now. I did see a hot take on YouTube saying that this team right now could beat the team that went 11-5 4 years ago, and honestly, I think I might agree with that. You know why? Because, first of all, this team is so much better coached. Ben McAdoo was just abysmal, like arguably the worst coach I've ever seen. And Joe Judge is absolutely amazing. Also, this offensive line is so much better than the offensive line from 4 years ago, which has also led to a much more effective running game. The only thing that the team 4 years ago had that this year's team doesn't is a star receiver like Odell Beckham Jr. Now I also got to talk about Dave Gettleman, because I was actually with the popular opinion that he's got to go, but actually I don't feel that way anymore, because how he brought in James Bradbury, Logan Ryan, Blake Martinez, and Leonard Williams, who's tied with Jason Pierre-Paul for 6th in sacks this year and tied for 2nd with Joey Bosa in quarterback hits this year. And even though trading Odell Beckham Jr. pissed me off, Jabril Peppers has been a stud, and I was actually at least happy to have Jabril Peppers. I just was not happy to trade Odell Beckham Jr. But the defense that he brought in, I'm very thrilled about the fact that they have this defense, and boy did they find a gem in Joe Judge, and also with Patrick Graham. Please stay with the Giants. I'm sure he's going to get some head coaching offers, and I hope he doesn't take them, but if he does, I don't really blame him. But just for the Giants' sake, I hope he sticks around, because he's been doing a phenomenal job as the defensive coordinator. And I was also not happy at all to have Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator at first, but then I was also convinced, hey, he might actually be a lot better if he's just focusing on the offense instead of the whole team. And you know what? It's actually starting to look good. So yeah, they've actually made some great coaching hires this offseason, and it's clear as day that the Giants want to play their hearts out for Joe Judge. I think that, without even being biased, I think that Joe Judge is hands down coach of the year right now. And honestly, I don't care about getting a top draft pick at all, because I just want to win, and I'm really not a fan of tanking. You don't want to be one of those teams like the Jets, or what the Browns were before this year, or what the Raiders were in between Rich Gannon and Derek Carr. You don't want to be one of those teams, or what the Buffalo Bills were until recently. You don't want to be one of those teams that just tanks forever. And I was really hoping that the Giants wouldn't be one of those teams, and I'm glad they're not one of those teams. It was only a few years of being really bad. Now it's looking like this team can break out next season. I mean, they're already breaking out now, but next season they really should look legit right from the start. I think I did say in my first NFL video, I believe, or maybe it was my Daniel Jones rant, that I think it's the Eagles' division to lose, but not impressively. But forget about that now, and I'm actually really happy about that, because boy do they suck, and I love it. But you know, maybe I didn't realize how bad they really are. I mean, not that I ever thought they were good, but I guess I underestimated how bad they really are, or maybe it's both this and what I'm about to say, that I didn't anticipate the Giants having the turnaround that they're having right now. But either way, this is the happiest I've been as an NFL fan in a long time. I am a little afraid though that Washington has gained some confidence from beating the Steelers. But again, they do have a tougher travel schedule, and I just really hope that the 49ers, the Seahawks, and Panthers step it up against Washington. I'm definitely not going to count on the Eagles, but just at least the 3 teams I mentioned. I just hope that they're able to step it up, and I at least hope that the Seahawks feel a sense of urgency going forward, at least for now, that after losing to a team that they really should have beat. Oh yeah, just a side note though, Greg Williams got fired as the Jets defensive coordinator, and good riddance, right? In a situation where it's clear as day to anybody with a speck of a brain that you don't blitz in that situation on the 45-yard line with 15 seconds left, and you're bringing in a blitz, that's a prevent situation. Anybody with a speck of a brain should know that. Congrats, you made Waldo from Family Matters look smart. And firing Adam Gase is long overdue, and that really needs to be done within the next 24 hours. But why the hell wasn't that done a long time ago, right? And I am just so glad the Giants found a gem in Joe Judge. Being a Bill Belichick and Nick Saban disciple, you knew that he had something good in him, right? And he's been absolutely brilliant. He's bringing in a winning culture, and I absolutely love it. And I think I've said this before on YouTube, I'm not sure, but this past NBA season made me really value culture more than ever before, seeing what the Miami Heat were able to do after the Big Three era to accomplish what they were able to accomplish this year without tanking, and also seeing what Chris Paul brought to OKC. And Joe Judge right now, he's bringing in a winning culture to the Giants, and it's been such a thrill to see. And I'm also really happy that the Giants stayed away from Mike McCarthy, which I was begging for them to do as soon as Green Bay let him go. I knew it all along that Aaron Rodgers had more to do with Green Bay's success than Mike McCarthy did, and Mike McCarthy's just being exposed right now because he doesn't have a franchise quarterback like he did in Aaron Rodgers. Well, okay, he did have Dak before, but even when Dak was breaking records, it was still a mess in Dallas, and Mike McCarthy is just not looking good in Dallas. I'm so glad that the Giants stayed away from him and got a Patriots disciple instead, and it's paying off. But anyways, that's the end of this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell button. Go Giants, I'll see you next time.